one. Welcome to Made for More Living.
One small step for man.
With Johnny Jennings.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
The fastest and most exciting hour of news, events, and real estate in Northern California.
And this is a fact that was proved.
Powered by EXP Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Get ready. Here we go.
AI, artificial intelligence. Man, I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm kind of getting tired of hearing that term.
Really?
Yes.
Did you hear that Apple is building a $500 billion complex in Texas?
Yeah, I have.
Dedicated to artificial intelligence.
Yep.
20,000 employees is what they're looking for. So whether you like it or not, it's here, it's now, it's the future, it's coming. It's scary for some folks. Are you concerned about it?
I'm not concerned in the least bit about it. I guess that's not entirely true. What frustrates me about AI is everybody's talking about the potential, and I'm just tired of hearing about the potential of AI. Like, let's talk about it when we're actually doing some stuff with it, when it's actually disrupting certain industries or benefiting certain industries. I'm tired of just talking about what's going to happen. It's like talking about the Super Bowl. People are already talking about the Super Bowl for 2026. I don't like, let's just talk about it when it's actually happening. Why do we have to talk about what's going to happen?
So you don't think AI has had any effect yet on any industry?
They're always saying that it's going to have an even bigger effect.
Yeah.
And so as far as what I see AI used in real estate. So for example, I think the agent using AI is way more powerful and way more
So there you go.
effective.
It has had an effect. You guys are using AI with your company.
Sure. But I mean, the internet had an effect.
Sure.
You know, the internet didn't put me out of a job. The internet didn't put a lot of people out of a job. It just provided more access to information. And so far, that's what AI seems to be for many people in many industries, is access to information and resources they wouldn't have had otherwise, or it just gives you access faster. So for example, like if I'm talking with my real estate coach, he'll record the whole thing, it'll transcribe it, AI will then transcribe it, and then AI will give us suggestions based off what we discussed on next steps, instead of him having to type out a huge report.
But wouldn't you otherwise have someone like an assistant or someone on staff that was doing that kind of work?
Not in that situation. Not necessarily in that situation. There might be people like that. So for example, when we record the radio show, right, we obviously put it on video, and instead of having somebody go through and listen to it minute by minute by minute, we use an artificial intelligence tool, an AI tool, and it just grabs what it thinks are going to be the most popular topics, and it chunks them out. And it saves us a lot of time editing, and so that way we're able to create content more readily.
So you're saying AI is more of a tool. It's not necessarily taking over what humans are needed to do.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to, because so for example, like before cars, people still need to get from A to B. Did airplanes, did trains?
We've got self-driving cars now.
True, but did it remove the ability to get from A to B, or did it just make getting from A to B that much easier?
Right.
And so I think the work is still going to need to be done, but also it opened up a whole bunch of new industries. Right? There was nobody installing tires. There was nobody doing oil changes. There was no auto mechanics prior to the car. And so with the AI thing, it's just going to open up new industries that didn't exist prior.
Right. We didn't get rid of all the horses in our country. We just used them for recreation.
Now they're for fun.
There you go. But what do you think about stories like this out of Fox Business News, where the first ever AI real estate agent generates $100 million in sales? And they're saying it provides better service. It has more information on thousands of properties than a real estate agent with a pulse can ever have.
So I think that headline's a little sensationalized, because that, or I'd like to.
Do you not agree that it's generated $100 million in sales?
Absolutely not. 0% chance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would fact check that and say, you're telling me that $100 million in sales took place 100% without any influence whatsoever from a human being?
Right. Okay. Well,
that one stinks. That one smells a little iffy. So what I would believe is maybe that artificial intelligence answered some questions late at night. Hey, is this home still available? Is this home available to be seen? What are typical closing costs? Things like that. Like I can see AI doing that, but do I see this individual communicating with this AI saying, hey, I'd like to negotiate this type of a purchase price, blah, blah, blah. What's typical in my area? Hey, does this home have this? Does it? Because and again, we're talking about Portugal. I don't know their market, but in the U.S., every single listing appointment I go on, I bring a stack of, I don't know, it's probably close to 60 pages of documentation. And we go over it line by line, and we just go over, hey, is this true? And it starts out with, here are the county tax records. It says your home is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This is the price you paid. You know, this is the year you bought it. This is the home size. This is the lot size. This is the year built. Does all this look correct? And I would say 7 times out of 10, no, it's not correct. And these are the county tax records. So what's that AI pulling the information from?
Right.
Is it pulling it from accurate information? So as far as AI taking over the world and taking over the real estate agent's job, people have been trying to do that since, I would say, at least 10 years. Billions and billions of dollars have been pumped into the real estate industry. I was just talking with a guy. Where does he live? El Dorado Hills. And he's like, this is ridiculous. Your guys' job is so easy, blah, 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 blah. I can do all this. I can just write some code, and I can do it all with the click of a button. And I didn't say this, because I'm sitting in his house. I'm trying to be respectful to his perspective, but it's completely ignorant. 100% ignorant. If somebody could have done that already, they would have already tried. And there are many companies that have tried. Open Door is trying to remove the agent out of the process, and they're hemorrhaging money. They keep having to increase the margins that they buy homes with because they're not able to just automate the system. The best example I can think of is they call it the last mile. Have you heard this story before about the last mile?
Yeah, you've told it to me a couple of times.
So the last mile, nobody's figured out the last mile, and that's what the real estate agent's good for. That's what the real estate agent, that's where they shine. So before I hopped on the call, somebody was asking me about a home inspection bid. First of all, they didn't know, not a home inspection, a home repair bid. First of all, they had a roof leak. They didn't know any good contractors, and they wanted it fixed immediately. So I called them up. My roofer was out there in 40 minutes. 40 minutes,
wow.
Same day, addressing the issue. And he's priced very competitively. And that was the second time that guy had called me because he had another situation with his house. AI is not going to be able to do that. They're not going to have the relationships. Who's a good contractor today is going to be different than who's a good contractor tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so that last mile is really, and he's not even on the market yet. And so there's just so much that takes place in a real estate transaction that AI is just, honestly, it's not going to.
It's not always just a cut and dry black and white transaction. Emotion is involved a lot of times with people, and AI can't yet figure that out.
Yeah, emotion, and honestly, just the nuances. It's really the nuance. So the main problem, and I think why a lot of these industries have had trouble disrupting real estate, is because they're trying to do it remotely. Residential real estate is an in-person experience. It's an in-person transaction. If you're selling a house in Roseville, you have to drive out to the property.
Right.
You can't just sit from behind your computer in Austin, Texas, and determine the value of the home. Like you have to go out there. I mean, we do desktop appraisals, and sometimes the appraisals come back higher than what I would have expected. But then, and I realize it's or different from what I would have expected. And sometimes it's because they didn't go in the house. They didn't smell the cat pee. Right? The photos look great, but they didn't smell the BO. They didn't have their feet stick to the floor as they're walking through the kitchen. And there's just these intangibles that AI is not able to pick up on. So as far as it disrupting my industry, it is in nuanced ways. I believe that the AI-powered agent is going to outperform the non-AI-powered agent, same as like the agent that uses internet.
Sure.
Is going to be more effective than the agent that doesn't. But as far as it replacing the agent, we're not seeing that.
Well, here's what they argued. They argue that AI agent not only takes the burden off the company as far as overnight staffing, but it also allows customers to do much less looking. They say that technology, quote, in a certain way replaces the search that they have online thanks to the AI agent's vast knowledge.
And I could see that, but that's already happening. That's like, so that's what's the term? There's an actual term where it's intuitive, or no, they call them dynamic search alerts. So based off of your search alerts,
right,
your search habits, they're going to start feeding you up more homes in that location and that price point. That's already happening. That I wouldn't consider that AI. So now we're getting into like, no, that's just, basic like real estate 101 that's already happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bottom line, you think AI is a tool, but it will never replace the real human real estate agent. Can be used as a tool.
Not unless they start walking around and being able to like get in cars and show people houses.
Right.
And smell and like experience the properties. There's no way, because then it's all done virtually. And so as far as the overnight thing, I do want to cover that just briefly, because yes, sometimes people like to be looking at homes at the middle of the night.
Right.
I get that. But most like the inquiries we get over the night, they are not the best. They're not the people who are looking to do something right now that's more preliminary. They're not even really serious about the home buying process. When somebody's really serious, they're going to call a real estate agent during the day. They're not gonna reach out, via a chat widget on a website in the middle of the night. Some might, but as far as like it being universal, I disagree with that. Not everybody's hopping on a real estate website at 2:00 in the morning, and that's when they do their home searches.
Right. So you would argue that this AI real estate agent isn't necessarily a real estate agent. It's a tool that other folks are using. And would you say that AI has helped you generate more money in your business?
Yeah, generate money and save money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because in man hours, like what would have taken 5 hours can now be done in like 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then there you go.
So that's my point. It's definitely a tool, but it's not like replacing. Like I haven't, if anything, I've hired more people because of AI, not less.
There you go.
Because it gives me more leverage with more people.
There you go.
So anyways, when we come back, we will be talking about easy, affordable updates that maybe you're not making to your bathroom.
Well, the weather's getting better. Thinking about putting your home on the market, but you don't want to do all those costly needed home repairs. You don't want to do all the organization, the open houses, the showings, the staging. Well, check this out. Johnny Jennings and his incredible team at Made for More Realty, they can get you at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. Don't believe him? He's done it many times with many listeners here in the greater Sacramento area. Again, 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. No need to get your home ready. Just bam, he'll show up and make sure that you are satisfied and happy with your arrangement. Again, 3 cash offers. Just reach out to Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty. There's a reason why they have been voted #1 team in Roseville for the past 3 years, why they have about 1,000 5-star Google reviews, more than anyone else in our area. So get more for your home. Just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So obviously inflation's a thing. Costs are going up. Prices are high.
Is it ever going to end? Are we ever going to see inflation come down in my lifetime?
Probably not. I don't think that that cheeseburger is going to get any cheaper. But the good news is, if let's say you're fixing up your house, you're getting ready to sell, or maybe you just want to live there for a little bit while longer, but you don't have the funds to update a bathroom. There's some cheap things you can do. One you were joking.
Change the shower curtain?
Change the shower curtain. Oh my Lord. Please, people. If you're having a real estate agent and you're showing them around, just change the shower curtain before you go out. I don't know how many nasty shower curtains I've had to touch because I'm having to look into the shower. But
so changing a shower curtain will do what for you? Obviously,
changing the shower curtain. I mean, it's just improving the overall condition of the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too expensive.
Not too
Buy
expensive.
one online.
Buy one online. Get it on Amazon. Go to
Temu.
Go to where? Temu.
What?
I'm like anti-Temu.
You are?
They're basically
that's
just.
You never tried it.
No. You're right. I have not tried it, but I know people who have, and it's like they're just stealing. It's like the people selling fruit on the corner of the streets.
Yeah.
Where did they get the fruit? They picked it at the orchard. They didn't, and then they put it in their car. And now they're selling it to you.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. They didn't.
So
They didn't
I
pay
don't
for the fruit
understand
and
how
then
you're
resell
relating
it.
that to Temu.
So Temu is just a bunch of stolen products.
You think so?
Absolutely.
They've stolen where did they steal the products from?
Or they're knockoffs. So like, for example,
Yeah, they're knockoffs. I wouldn't argue with that. I
like-
think they're cheaper versions of things.
so like unauthorized reproductions of things. Like
I wouldn't say it's that.
So Ryobi, tool manufacturer, they have all these batteries and stuff. There are Ryobi knockoffs. Like they look like Ryobi. They're even adaptable for Ryobi. I had a buddy, he recently bought 2 batteries. The batteries typically would cost somewhere between $80 to $100, depending on the specials that are running. For one battery, he was able to pick up 2 batteries for $15.
There you go.
Each. So $30. $30 for 2.
Good for him.
And so it's just a knockoff. But what gets me fired up is one of the reasons why those tools are more expensive is because Ryobi has put in the time and effort into employing people, testing the batteries, creating new
these
technology.
Aren't the exact same product. These are cheaper, not as good quality versions of that.
To me, the
Okay,
existence
fine.
of Temu is like stealing.
So get a shower curtain. Just don't buy it on Temu because it's probably stolen goods. You could go to jail, according to Johnny Jennings.
Go to jail.
What else can we do to our bathrooms that are affordable and not going to break the bank?
So a big thing is that many people overlook is the fixtures. So whether it be the light fixtures or the faucets, right? Or the where's the water come out?
The faucet.
No, out of the shower. What's that called? Spigot.
Sure.
I don't know.
The shower head?
Yeah, the shower head.
Okay.
Updating those. Something to keep in mind is, yes, darker like black, matte black tends to be more in style. But if you have hard water or if you're not going to keep it clean, it's easy to get the water spots on it. So stuff like that. You don't have to go out and totally replace the vanity, totally rip out the tub, but maybe just updating some fixtures, putting a new shower curtain in. Okay. Easy ways to give your bathroom a facelift.
You have to redo the flooring.
And here's the thing. The thing about bathrooms is they can get pretty gnarly. Right?
Sure, because they get used multiple times every day.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of moisture in there.
You got moisture. If you have kids, if you have pets, like they see a lot of wear and tear. You probably wash your car more than you wash the bathroom.
Oh, absolutely.
And so just doing a deep clean on the bathroom was gonna pay huge dividends if you're looking to sell your house, or it's just part of the basic upkeep. Like the biggest issue I've been running into lately with homes, and I don't know if this is just because things are more expensive or people's budgets are tight, is a lot of deferred maintenance. Like a lot of deferred maintenance. Fences, roofs, exterior siding. Like if you're gonna treat this as an asset, treat it as an asset. Like you have to invest in it, you have to maintain it. If you're just riding it out and not doing anything, if you're not, painting it every now and then, having inspections done, servicing the AC and the heater, like it's going to cost you more money in the long run. So just please service your stuff, so then you can sell your house and move on to a bigger, better place, maybe.
Right, maybe a Disney community. Did you hear about this? So
I've heard rumors about it.
Disney is opening up a luxurious community in the Coachella Valley, and it's pretty intriguing. Each of our communities, they say, is going to be a unique offering for our residents of lifestyle and amenities, something I would say nobody can do like Disney, is what they're saying. They'll have private beaches, kayaks, they'll have paddle boats, and they're taking in the animator vision of a home that was created in Incredibles 2. They're going to build real-life versions of the Parr House, and it's just going to be amazing. They're going to take in all of the imagination and creativity of the Disney engineers and animators to create a private community. I think there's going to be a lot of people that want this. You have those Disney fanatics who go to Disney multiple times a year. They spend thousands of dollars. Yeah. They are engrossed in Disney. When you go to their house, I have a friend who's like that. You go to their house, they've got Disney decor in their house. Weird. And they're all about it. They definitely sign up for something like this. They would love to be engrossed in the Disney community. And you don't like it.
You just feel like you're living in Disneyland? I don't understand the allure here.
Well, one of the appeals of going to a Disney park is you're escaping the real world. You're going into a theme park that's, just full of fantasy and laughter. That's why they call it the happiest place on earth. There's so much negativity and garbage in our world these days.
That is not the happiest
people want to escape. For you, maybe it's not, but there's a reason why they're making a lot of money down at these theme parks.
I think,
and why they're continuing to raise prices, because the demand is so high. And so there's people that want this. Whether you don't want it or not, they want this, and they want to escape the real world. and they want to live in a community where everybody's a little bit more positive and joyous, and they can escape into the Disney magic that they've created. And so there's going to be a lot of people that's going to want this. And aside from the Disney theme, though, think it's a gated community, if you will. It's got its own private lake. It's got all these amenities.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that honestly irritates. So I'm not a big Disney fan. I don't understand people who are grown adults. Like it'd be like me hanging out at Chuck E. Cheese. Do you like Marvel? It'd be like me hanging out at Chuck E. Cheese. Like, I don't understand. Like, that's weird. If like you see like. If I was to throw a bachelor party at Chuck E. Cheese, that would be weird. but to me, it's the equivalent for people that go to Disney. If you like that, whatever, it's your thing. But the thing that really fires me up about this Coachella thing, we just had like massive fires in Los Angeles. The fire hydrants didn't have water. The reservoirs didn't have water. But yet in the middle of the Coachella desert, they're going to create a man-made lake?
24 acres.
That's ridiculous. Come on. Where's this water coming from?
Disney's got money.
Yeah, Disney on Ice is going to just drain into the thing. So
they're just pouring bunches of Avion water.
Avion, yeah.
No expense spared.
Pellegrino.
But, come on. If there was a community, maybe it's not a Disney themed, but something that you enjoy, maybe it had a whiskey and cigar theme to it, or a John Wayne, because you're a big John Wayne fan.
I am a big John Wayne
fan. If it
fan.
had some type of theme that you really were passionate about and enjoyed, and it was a gated community where you're going to Cabo to a resort, right?
Yeah.
It's that resort feel. People love going to resorts where it's all inclusive and you just relax and you enjoy yourself. All the amenities are at your fingertips. That's what people want.
That's what people think they want.
Live like they want to live like they're on vacation every day of the year.
That's what people think they want. And then you know what? Then after I leave the all-inclusive resort in Cabo, I come home and I'm like, man, it feels good to be home. Well,
what if home was literally, 100 yards down from where you were relaxing on the beach?
I don't know. You're out in the middle of nowhere. I think you're going to be secluded. You might create your own little groups. But I would also be, with these newer communities, like a Disney-themed community, I would also be very curious about resale value. So, let's change it. Let's change it was a John Wayne community. Okay, and I bought the first phase of houses in this John Wayne community. What's that going to look like when I go to sell it? Or if I die there? I think these are 55 pluses, right? The Disney
No,
thing?
I don't think they have an age restriction on here. It's 2,000 homes right now, plus a hotel. So you'll be able to have guests. And the starting range is upwards of $4 million to get into this community. Well, yeah.
That's insane.
Well, Disney is expensive.
Disney is expensive.
And you're paying for this exclusivity, this private resort. You're only going to have 2,000 homes there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a town. It's going to have its own town center. So
that would help with resale.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to have its own town center. It's in the middle of nowhere. They're like selling it like it's like a benefit, and it's like, no, we need that.
No, yeah, they do. They need it to be in the middle of nowhere. You don't want to have it in Riverside or in Roseville. You want this to be away from everything. That's the whole appeal part of it.
So it's a $4 million second home.
I guess. Oh no, my bad. They start from you can get one around $1 million.
Okay. So for the
single family homes start in the upper 1 million range, with villa estates starting in the upper 4 million range.
Villa estates. That does sound cool.
There you go. See, come on, you got a John Wayne or something that you're passionate about and it's themed. I think people want that. They want to escape.
I don't know. I disagree with you on the escape thing. Like that fires me up. Like
you don't think that's healthy for people?
I do not think that's like. What are you escaping from?
From all the negativity and stuff going on in this world.
But we are living one of the best time, if not the best time, in the history of mankind to be alive.
How do you define that?
Look at the.
You think we're happier? Because research has not said that we are happier than our grandparents. Are you saying that we?
I'm not saying we're happier, but I'm saying what we have is we have more, and all this what this community is promising more of stuff that's already not making people happy. Okay. And so when I look at my little boys, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm so thankful that they're healthy and that they're they're okay, but that wasn't the case 50 years ago or even 100 years ago. Like it's basically guaranteed if you're giving birth to a child, that child is going to live,
right?
And then there's a very low likelihood that child's going to die, when they're a baby, right? That did not exist 100 years ago.
Right.
Hot water did not exist 100 years ago. AC, cars, like the modern medicine that we
Right.
have.
Sure.
The standard of living that we have is better than what the kings of old had.
Right,
And
okay.
so we have all of this. So what do you really? We have food. There's so much food. Like
Right.
people like. If you go out behind any restaurant, there's so much waste. If you hang out at a grocery store, they're having to get rid of all this food. That food was planted, it was watered, it was harvested,
Some
it was
of it.
transported.
Depending on how processed it was.
Well, like I'm talking about vegetables.
No, I get you.
You know, like
I hear what you're saying.
like that, and then it was transported across the world into your local grocery store where you can buy it. Yes, it's more expensive than maybe it's been in the past, but still relatively affordable. What are you escaping from? You right? Why do you have to pay
Just
$1 million?
all the stuff that's going on in the news, and crime, and politics.
Yeah,
and
but that's always been. But that's. I mean, think about it. World War II.
Then why is there a need to go on vacation then? If everything's so great, why do you need to go on vacation?
Man,
why do you need to take a trip to Cabo?
So that's a good point. That's a really good point. I'm not a big vacation guy. I like quality time.
There you go.
I think quality time is good.
So maybe that's what this is. They want to provide quality time away from all the stuff. I don't know.
So for clarification, the trip to Cabo is the only vacation Valerie and I are taking, and it's the only vacation we typically take in a given year, and it's a work trip.
There you go.
Right,
Yeah.
the morning, and it's about real estate and
Because you
seminars.
probably wouldn't be taking it if it wasn't.
I would
a work
not
trip.
be going if it was not a work
Right.
trip. And so I'm not saying whether that's good or bad. It's irrelevant. It is what it is. And so I don't want people to think that I'm just like cruising to Cabo and taking a week off. Like this is a work thing.
Hey, everybody deserves a vacation. Come on.
Really?
Yeah.
Like where does that?
And there's different levels of vacation. We should have. You don't think we should have time off from our jobs?
I think you should have a day of rest. I think you should have a day of
Other
rest.
than that,
and
though,
I think
you don't need
there should be
vacation?
some major like family holidays, religious holidays, whatever it is. But I believe people are happiest when they're productive. And when you are contributing to society, whether it's making a financial contribution into your own bank account or whether it's volunteering your time to help others, rather than escaping to a desert in the middle of nowhere with Perrier water, right? I think if you showed up in your local community and had dinner with a bunch of friends at a local restaurant, I think that would be, and did that regularly, I think that would produce more value and more happiness in a person's life. Instead of saving up a bunch of money and flying to Disneyland, what if you saved up a bunch of money and took your family to Italy? It would be somewhat comparable in cost, but then you're getting to experience another culture.
Sure.
You're getting to see sites. You're getting to see historical sites, and not freaking Cinderella, like 18-year-old Cinderella, doing her job. So.
All right. Well, if I'm able to afford one of these homes, I will not invite you to be. I will not put you on the guest list.
That's okay.
I know you're out.
That's
Forget
okay.
it.
Yeah, I might show
But
up.
interesting. It's an interesting concept. I think we're going to see more of these. I think in the future, we'll see more of these
More themed.
communities. I think the interest is there. I think you'll have Universal and all different types of companies seeing. Well, let's see how this does. It'll be interesting.
Disney's
to see
the
how this
only
does.
one that I can think of that would pull it off. Like, who goes to Universal Studios? It's like Disneyland. Oh,
Sure.
Can we hit up Universal Studios? No, we ran out of time.
Don't you think like a community like the Sun City communities? Don't you think that's similar?
Those are based on building community. It's not based on it's based on here's a bunch of 55 plus people in a similar stage of life.
Yeah.
And what happens in a lot of those communities is they meet for breakfast every day.
That's what will happen here.
They do that, but
Just Mickey will be invited as well.
Yeah, just
and
Mickey.
the pancakes will be the shape of Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse's head. Yeah. So anyway, I think communities built around community have a long-term, value proposition rather than something built on a fad.
Okay, cool.
So-
Well, there you go. Two different sides of
Two
the
different
coin.
sides. Where do you land? Let me know. Chime in on the chat.
So you think all realtors are the same? You think Johnny is no different than your sister or your cousin who does it part-time, maybe sells one house a year? Well, there's a difference with Johnny Jennings and his team at Made for More Realty. There's a reason why they've been voted #1 team in Roseville for the past 3 years, why they have about 1,000 5-star Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Go check them out and find out how you can get at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. No need to do showings, open houses, organization, repairs, 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. So just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So, Matt, I recently read a stat, and it claims that only 5% of mortgage holders are under 30 years old.
That's not hard for me to believe.
Honestly thought it would be higher.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. One is just the affordability factor, right? Can folks under the age of 30 afford a home these days?
Not until the government pays off their student loans. When I hear student loans, this might irritate some people, but when I hear student loans, I hear beer money. Like until the government pays off your beer money.
Why do you define it that way?
Because I know a lot of people who got student loans and didn't spend it on school. They spent it on life. They spent it on cars.
Well, that
they
says
spent it
a
on
lot
other
about
stuff.
who you're hanging out with.
But that's or they spent it on tuition. I was just talking with somebody there, whatever. I don't want to say what it is, but they knew somebody who spent $250,000 on their education. That person now lives in her little town and is making $49,000 a year.
Right.
Like that's a bad financial.
What did she major in?
She's a teacher.
She spent $250,000 for a teaching credential?
Not a credential, but she went to university, finished it in 4 years. Yeah.
What? See, that's outrageous. See, that's one of the problems is college education is way overpriced. How is that possible that she spent did she go for like 12 years or something like that?
4 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. See, that is a problem for sure. So yeah, they have all this debt. They're under 30. They have all this college debt, whether or not that was a wise choice or not. And so buying a home these days with the way the interest rates are and inflation and now home insurance policies have doubled, if not tripled, in the past few years,
especially in California.
And so it's much tougher for folks under the age of 30 to afford a home.
It really is. Like I don't have the numbers pulled up in front of me, but if in the 80s, if the home was costing you $60,000 and people were making $30,000 a year, okay, well let's change that. Let's say the house costs $700,000 or $600,000. That means that household, for the ratios to be similar, that would be $300,000. I don't know a whole lot of households bringing in $300,000.
No, that's tough. That's one reason, And then the other reason is you don't feel like the American dream to own a home is relevant anymore to folks under the age of 30.
I think there's still a lot of people that aspire to that. We've talked about on those shows that people aspire to it, but what's interesting is I think people who already are homeowners are transitioning away from that, and that, I believe, will have a trickle-down effect on people who aren't homeowners.
What do you mean by that? Explain that.
So, for example, I've owned 4 homes, right? It is a lot of freaking work. You got to pay a lot. People think, hey, I'll just buy the house as a fixed monthly payment. They don't factor in repairs. They don't factor in things that go wrong on the home. They don't factor in, and who would have factored
rising
in?
home insurance.
Homeowners insurance costs, right? There are so many people who bought a home. Homeowners insurance was an afterthought.
Right.
And now, fast forward 10, 15 years, it is the reason why they are selling. They cannot afford that home anymore, not because they lost a job, not because of a life event, but because homeowners insurance has gone up so much that they can't stay there. And so anyways, a lot of that risk, and that has a direct impact on the value of their home, because if a person's pre-approved for, let's say, $4,000 a month, and your homeowners insurance is now $1,000 a month, right? That has to be factored into that number, their household budget, and so now you just slash the value of the home by that whatever that monthly payment looks like to them, and so it's just I firmly believe that the U.S. is going to be, so the whole idea of home ownership being the American dream, I need to do a little bit more research on it, but my understanding is that it came from the idea of people wanting to be landowners. So rather than the government owning your land, rather than the English owning the land, people wanted to be landowners. And that land equated freedom because that land provided them with the opportunity to earn an income.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a great, if you've ever seen the movie Far and Away with Tom Hanks, oh my gosh, such a great scene where they're from overseas. They're from Scotland or Ireland, somewhere over there, and they dream of coming to America to stick that stake in the ground and claim it. This is my property.
Yep.
And it's so inspiring because they want it so badly. This is their chance. This is their opportunity. And to be able to have this race and stick that stake in the ground and say, this is mine, this is my property. I mean, I think that was a great dream that America was able to offer. And now, it's such a small fraction of what that originally used to be.
Correct. And so that dream was like freedom. That dream was financial freedom, right? And owning a home isn't necessarily an asset by the strictest definition of the term. It is a liability. It is taking money out of your pocket every year or every month, unless you have like multifamily properties, and then all of a sudden a home becomes, in that situation, an asset because it's putting money into your pocket. But now, so to use your example, that family coming over, escaping whatever they were escaping, wanting a better opportunity so they could provide for their family, home ownership, land ownership meant that opportunity to them. Now, home ownership does not mean that. And so it seems to me that the idea of home ownership shifted from land into home. So the American dream shifted from owning the land, being free, into owning your own home. That was a consumer shift. Yeah. But people are waking up and realizing, hey, it doesn't matter where my home is. It doesn't matter if I own the home or not. What matters is upward mobility. So still in Europe, still in other parts of Asia, there's your caste, your society demographic determines kind of how mobile you are. In the United States, somebody can come here dirt poor and become a billionaire. And that, I believe, is the American dream. And that is defined not by the home you own, but by the skills and the energy and the impact you have on the marketplace and your community. And so as we move forward, people who've already bought homes, have already experienced this upward mobility, are saying, hey, the home really didn't do a whole lot for me. I'm choosing now to rent.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you think we start turning into a society where we have more renters than people who own homes? Because, I mean, if you're driving down 65 or wherever in Sacramento, a lot of the development I've been noticing is all these apartment complexes.
Yeah,
then townhome complexes.
They're doing it in Fresno. They're doing it in Reno. I think I heard about them doing it in the Sacramento area as well. But a lot of these complexes are being built, and they're never even going to be on the market to buy. They're just being built to rent.
Right.
And I believe that is ultimately where the U.S. will head as far as home ownership goes. So if you're looking to invest in real estate, that's a different story. Like you're buying something at a rate that then is paying you a little bit of money every month,
sure,
and you're getting to take place in, like, you're getting to benefit from the appreciation, the upward value over time, the increase in the value over time, and that is a different conversation than being in a home. So I recently met with a guy. I don't know the details of his story, but he's selling his house. I asked him, dude, why are you selling your house? This is a great house. You just moved in not that long ago. He's like, Johnny, I'm house poor. Like, I can afford my mortgage. Everything's good, but I can't do anything else. And so what he's gonna sell his house, downsize, and probably rent for a while. And now he'll have more discretionary income to do whatever it is he wants to do, whether that's investing, whether that's buying a house down in Coachella at the Disney place. Who knows what he's going to do with it? But my point is people are kind of waking up to home ownership being the only path to wealth.
So do you think that's good for our society? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
To move away from home ownership?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Good or bad? The stance I take when it comes to like political things or consumer type things, like, is it benefiting the individual and
Right.
then expand it out. Is it benefiting the family? Is it benefiting the community? Is it benefiting the country?
Right.
And if being a renter is benefiting the individual and therefore the family financially, then I don't see why that would be a bad thing.
Okay.
Like what would be the only way it could be a bad thing is there's a lot of people who,
Because you still have a landlord, and that's what a lot of folks were escaping in other countries. I want to come to America so I can be the lord of my own land.
because they
And
were
now-
slaves. They didn't have freedom. They couldn't.
Well,
and it's still like that in much of Europe.
Yeah.
Like you can't. There was no like a person in poverty could not become king, right? You
Right.
couldn't become a knight. You couldn't become a lord. Like you were stuck where you were at. And in the United States, whether you rent or whether you own, you still have that upward mobility. There are billionaires who rent their
Sure.
houses.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So I don't think that's necessarily hurting. Where I think it could hurt is if people are renting and then they're not saving for their future.
Oh, gotcha.
They're not investing for their future. Because there's been a lot of cases where the home has been the de facto piggy bank. Either it was grandma and now she has an inheritance for her kids, or whether it was the parents and now they're able to sell that house and put the parent into a care facility. And had they not had the house, they would not have had the funds to do that.
Right.
So some places it's the de facto piggy bank. Some places it's the credit card, and they just keep pulling out home equity lines of credit,
Right.
and there is no equity there. And so it depends on how you treat your financial life, and I don't think that depends on whether or not you live in the home or whether like you own it or whether you rent it.
Interesting perspective. Well, the weather's getting better. Thinking about putting your home on the market, but you don't want to do all those costly needed home repairs. You don't want to do all the organization, the open houses, the showings, the staging. Well, check this out. Johnny Jennings and his incredible team at Made for More Realty, they can get you at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. Don't believe him? He's done it many times with many listeners here in the greater Sacramento area. Again, 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. No need to get your home ready. Just bam, he'll show up and make sure that you are satisfied and happy with your arrangement. Again, 3 cash offers. Just reach out to Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty. There's a reason why they have been voted #1 team in Roseville for the past 3 years, why they have about 1,000 5-star Google reviews, more than anyone else in our area. So get more for your home. Just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
It would be great if real estate agents were paid by the hour. Don't you agree?
Aren't you an advocate for that?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Okay, I
I'm
thought
not.
maybe you had made an argument for that realtors should be paid by the hour.
Nope, I don't think realtors should necessarily be paid by the hour. I like the independent contractor agreement. I like the you are paid once you've delivered a service
Okay.
aspect of it. I mean, it would be nice to be paid by the hour, but that would really be hard on homeowners
Sure.
and
Absolutely.
and buyers. Like they're not going to. What are they going to do? Pony up $50 an hour for me to drive them around in a car? Like
Right.
But that's unfortunately what most people.
You are in favor though of having a higher threshold or an entry fee of becoming a realtor. So everybody doesn't know 10 realtors, and are not doing it part-time and selling no houses throughout the year. You think it should be a higher, like maybe 10 grand or something like that in order to become a realtor. And
Yeah, so let me explain that briefly for all the realtors out there who are getting pissed off at me just hearing this. And
that's the goal of this show.
That's the goal.
How much can we get Johnny Jennings pissed off?
if you're mad,
How many people can we get pissed off at Johnny Jennings?
if you're mad, Matt's doing his job.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. No, so basically I was talking with one of I have 2 coaches, two coaches for business, and I was talking to one of them and he told me that the licensing fees for his for the product he uses is over $20,000 a year.
Wow.
Like significant amount every single year that he's in business using this company to license their tools and their product. It's $20,000 a year. Okay. And I remember when this guy started, he was not making a whole lot of money, but he's doing better now. But so when I say $10,000 a year should be the dues to be a real estate agent, the goal is not to hurt real estate agents. It's to help them and to help the consumer. Because most people do not see a difference between the agent that just got their license, that's their daughter and the agent that has been doing this full time for years. They don't see the difference. And I mean, last year, 2024, according to Inman News, 71% of real estate agents did not sell a single house. So what I'm hearing is 70 out of 100 agents are going to soccer games, are going to their church, are going to family functions, and telling everybody they're a real estate agent when they didn't even sell a single home. That is dangerous. That is borderline unethical. If you are a pretender, I don't think you should be telling people that. Like, if you're not, so let's say you're
giving the industry a bad name.
You're giving the industry a bad name, and sometimes we're ranked below used car salesmen and lawyers.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why is because you're running into a bunch of pretenders. You're not running into the professionals. And so when I say it should be $10,000 a year, one, that's low compared to what you're able to make in the industry, and two, that's only going to help people in the long run. That's only going to help the consumer in the long run. Well, how are people? And then I hear, well, Johnny, how are we supposed to become realtors if it costs us $10,000? I said, I don't know. I know somebody that just paid $250,000 to become a teacher. Somehow they figured it out. What about the dentist? Do you want a bunch of part-time dentists running around, or part-time attorneys or doctors? Like, come on.
Or maybe you have companies that interview and qualify really good candidates that are educated, they're talented, and they decide, okay, we'll pony up the $10,000 to hire you because we think you're one of the few that are really going to be great at what you're doing.
So to become an EMT, I think it's over $10,000. Those people make like barely above minimum wage.
EMTs?
Yes, they are not well paid, and it's cost them thousands of dollars to get their training, and yet a realtor can get licensed for $1,500. Like, we're talking about granted, it's not life-saving. You're not saving anybody's life in real estate, but we're talking about people's potentially their entire retirement, their nest egg, their livelihood. This is where, like, come on, this is not a job for a part-timer. Let's create a bar. But anyways.
I hear you. So where were we going with this originally?
Where we were going with this originally was agents are not paid by the hour. So sometimes, you end up working with somebody and it doesn't work out and you feel like you wasted a bunch of money. You were sharing about a friend.
Yeah, I have a friend who was really brand new in doing real estate, just got their license. They didn't pay $10,000. They thought, oh, this is going to be easy. Long story short, she took a bunch of people out to see homes, you know, over multiple days, spending gas money.
Yep.
And this happened multiple times.
Sure.
She did not make sure they were pre-approved or ready or qualified to buy a home. And so she invested a lot of time. She was so frustrated at the end of it to find out they did not have the money to purchase a home, and they didn't have the qualifications. And this happened multiple times, and she just felt so defeated.
Taken advantage of.
Yeah,
maybe a little.
because it's like, hey, and I think she said she had a conversation with these people because she was looking at a home that was way above what they could afford. And she's like, and she goes, I've been spending a lot of my own time, gas and many hours trying to help you find a home. And now you're telling me you might not be ready. I don't get paid. I'm not getting paid to do this, Yeah. The only way I get paid is if you buy a home, and now you're saying you're not be qualified and you're not ready. So I just wasted all this time. So she was really frustrated.
Sounds like she should have joined the Made for More team and gone through our training.
And what would she have learned there?
So what she would have learned is, first of all, if you're going to, so the letter of the law states that if you're going to take somebody out and show them houses, they have to sign a buyer broker with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a new thing.
Oh, it's a new thing. Okay.
August 17th, 2024 kind of went into effect. But so one part of that, but in doing that, you end up having these conversations with people that really you identify where it is they're looking to go, why they're moving, what's their financial ability, what it is you're going to do for them, what it is they expect from you. Like, just having that intro conversation rather than just throwing somebody in a car and they texted you some houses
like in her
see.
situation, she got all excited. She's brand new. All right, I've got a customer. I'm going to take them out. I'm not going to wait, and this is going to be great. She got all excited. And
so the silver lining that I would say for your friend is she met with somebody. Like a typical lead can cost. It can cost as low as like $7. Like a lead being somebody who's like raised their hand. They're interested in doing something like, say, buying a house It can be as cheap as $7, or it can go upwards of like thousands of dollars. And so, depending on how she met this person, she could have saved herself thousands of dollars in generating a lead, but she did spend some money in gas. So there's let's just put it in perspective. And then, as far as meeting, like that's like the holy grail of being a real estate agent, is getting belly to belly, toes to toes, nose to nose, across from somebody looking to do something in real estate. Because now you're having hopefully an honest conversation,
right? And
you're learning. There's so much value in that. And if they're not ready to do something now, she helped them. She had honest conversations, hopefully, with them, and hopefully, this is the big thing. This is where most agents drop the ball. Hopefully, she follows up with them and stays in contact with them. Because when they are ready to pull the trigger, if she did a good job, they're calling her.
Right.
And that wasn't money lost. It wasn't time lost. That was time invested. That was money invested.
Do you think she should have made sure that they were pre-qualified before taking them out?
So it depends. Now, if it's Valerie, if it's my wife,
your wife Valerie,
if it's my wife who's a top producing agent in the area, then I would ask her to, yes, please make sure they're pre-approved, because she is so busy between all the different clients that we're serving that she can't spend time on people who are wasting her time.
Right.
But if you are a brand new agent like your friend, what else are you doing? Like, you should be working real estate at least 40 hours a week if you're new. And so what are you doing with those 8 hours a day if you're not showing clients around? And so if you don't have people to show around, put them in your car. I would not worry about them being pre-approved. Show them a couple houses, figure out what it is they're looking for, and then be like, okay, great. Now that we've seen these houses, let's figure out what your monthly payment would be. Have you spoken with the lender? And then go from there.
Right.
And then you can adjust it. Oh my gosh, we were shopping way below your budget. Never happens, right? That conversation. Well, it's like, hey, we're shopping a little high. Let's bring it down a bit,
right.
and into reality, and let's look at what houses look like in that price point.
Right.
So as far
let's
as
stop looking in Granite Bay, we probably need to go look and see what's available in North Highlands. Right.
Yeah. You can't be going to Coachella. Can't be looking at Disney communities.
Right.
We're gonna be looking at Antelope. So, but that's kind of what I would have told your friend, and maybe what she would have learned along the way. It wasn't time wasted; it was time invested.
There you go.
And
Smart.
always be willing to put somebody in your car. I always show up to every single appointment that whether or not I think it's going to be a good one or a bad one, I show up regardless, because you never know. You never know. Recently, showed up, had an appointment. I did not want to go. I thought it was going to be a bad appointment. Dude ended up signing a listing agreement for $2.4 million.
Oh, wow.
And I thought it was going to be a bad appointment. So you always show up.